Welcome to Modern Mystic Messages. I'm Teresa. Thank you so much for stopping by and clicking on the video. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back, Soul Family. What's up? In any event, happy Sunday to you if you're seeing this on the day I'm uploading it. But in any event, wherever you're at in the world and whenever you're at in the world, welcome, welcome in. You are welcome here. Soul Family, today it's interesting because I had to put a pin in my own thoughts and program. I was in the process of getting a collective reading, a pick a card reading ready for my other channel, Anunnaki Oracle Priestess. And if you're not subscribed there, I highly encourage you to do so. You can scroll down to the bottom of this homepage and there's an icon there. You can tap it, it'll take you right there. We do tarot and oracle readings there. But I had to, you ever get so full of something running through your head so much you just feel like you need to get it out of your head? And it was that way today. I ran across, well, I was led to, there's no stumble across by accident, there are no accidents, but received a beautiful confirmation and information session, if you will, today. And am linking it to this video. So definitely look at the pinned comment on this video and in the description box. And definitely you'll want to check out that video. But it was on Amrit Sandhu's channel. And he was interviewing Carrie Kay, a beautiful sister. I think she's out of South Africa. And she eloquently put a voice to quite a lot of the things that have been kind of coming out in the readings lately, the things that I'm seeing in meditation, group conversations that we're having. But she even goes further into the issue of the timeline split and things like that. But as I was sitting down to do this reading, a deck came to mind, several cards came to mind. I was thinking about the void, and then there out of the wisdom of the oracle deck, I kept hearing between worlds and come to the edge. And then from the Lenormand deck, I was seeing the bridge. And it just really made me start thinking about some of the things that we've been talking about on the channel recently. So I just wanted to share because one of the things that I've become very aware of in recent years, when I first started going down this spiritual rabbit hole, if you will, one of the first things that I heard was that extreme clarity is often misinterpreted by others that don't understand. It's often misinterpreted as crazy. There are a lot of folks out there that people think are crazy because those people have flashes of extreme clarity and cannot find the words to accurately express what's going on in their head. So I'm hoping it doesn't come across like that for you, because I promise you, I know I'm not crazy. And the group that, kind of rocks out on our WhatsApp group and all, they are associated with this channel. But we have some wonderful discussions there and share insights. But one of the things that occurred to me is we were having a conversation about trolls on like the YouTube channels. And if you watch live streams at all, you'll see no matter what the genre is for the channel, whatever niche it is, there's going to be trolls showing up. People are getting so hateful with the things that they say. They show up, they want to disrupt, they just want to argue and chatter, chatter, chatter. It's really kind of embarrassing at how rude and infantile a lot of adults in the online space are becoming or have become. They're just getting bolder and louder and bolder and louder. And I had to think about, why is that? And then it went back to something that I heard initially when I started acknowledging how strong my clairaudience was getting. Two of the things that I heard was, let my people go, and the revolution will not be televised. And at the time, I had no idea I mean, I knew the song, Gil Scott Heron, yeah, all that cool song. And let my people go is what Yahweh initially said to the Pharaoh regarding the Egyptians in the Bible. I'm hearing it in a different context because truthfully, this go around, it's a message from from Enki to his brother Yahweh, that his time, his grip on humanity, if you will, and the powers that were, the powers and principalities that the scriptures tell us that we war against, all of those, their time is ending, and Enki is saying, let my people go. The time for holding people in this mental prison, in this trap of 3D subterfuge and the false matrix, all of that's grinding to a close. So, truthfully, the trolls, it occurred to me, those people who are trolling, I did see them kind of as damaged souls, but I don't even think it's so much they are. But I mean, I don't want to make none of them mad because it's not genuinely a negative connotation that I'm saying it in. It's that all of us are traumatized. The ones that call themselves light workers, chosen, the black sheep, all of those that are on the path of the initiate and things like that, we awakened enough in the matrix that we started noticing that something was different and allowed ourselves to intuitively be led to the things that were beginning to crack us open, the additional insights, the information. We were curious enough and bold enough to kind of break away from the status quo and start on our path of ascension. The ones that are stuck in that trolling energy, they're fighting their ascension. They're only on our pages because their higher selves and their angelic spirit team has led them to the information, but it's different than the traditional belief systems. And rather than them speak less and listen more and understand that there are no accidents. So the very fact that they're bumping into the information is something that their spiritual team is literally putting out there like a flashing SOS to get their attention. Well, it does get their attention, but instead of them paying attention to it and understanding that it's guidance from their spiritual team, they mock it, they push against it, they troll. They show up in very hateful ways because it pushes against their false matrix programming, and they're not prepared or awake enough in the matrix to be willing to let the false matrix programming go. They can't learn the new things. So truthfully, we show up trying to teach and guide because we realize we're all walking each other home. So as we get new information, we sit with it, and we went through all of the phases of grief and hurt and all those things. So we're trying to figure this thing out, and can we accept it? And then if once we accept it, how much do we say to somebody else? Do we say? And then spirit moves our heart. No, you got to get out there and teach what you know, because there's a whole lot of people that were stuck in that spot just like you were. So as you're starting to figure it out, maybe we should kind of come out of the cave a little bit and start speaking these things and comparing notes with what other people are saying, and start forming soul family, and all those things start happening. And then here come the trolls. Well, that stuck feeling that you feel, where the place, I call it the place under the bridge where the trolls meet, in the fairy tales, the hero of the tale is trying to get across the bridge. They have to get to the next destination or wherever it is they're trying to go. And the troll shows up on the bridge to stop the hero from coming through. You have to answer the riddles or give them a gift or something else, or the troll is going to gobble you up, or whatever the case may be in the fairy tales. But the truth of the matter is, in this go around, while we're in this ascension cycle, we are the bridge for the trolls. The trolls been holding everybody else back all this time, but now as we begin to ascend, it's kind of like um, an usher, if you will, is helping guide people out of the plane. The emergency ramp has already been gone out the side and people are sliding off. And rather than you just jump on down and get out and get to the other side to this 4D, 5D ascension, you're still kind of hanging out in that liminal space, if you will, to try to awaken and inform and encourage those that are still in that 3D space. Because a lot of them are people that we loved and still love. And we can't figure out why they're not awakening and ascending because they choose not to. And that really ain't our business. But because we love them, we want to help them. So we're still there and then saying, oh, we're stuck. No, you ain't stuck. You just still, you understand that the timeline is beginning to split. And we're still sitting there with our arms out, hoping that those folks that are stuck there in 3D will reach out and we can help them jump on over here on the new timeline. Many of us are getting evidence of the timeline splits. We've got personal Mandela effects. We're paying attention to the Mandela effects that are out there in mass consciousness, even, and we're understanding that that's not just a funny, quirky little thing. We're understanding that it does mean that reality as we know it is shifting. We're not on the same timeline that we were born into and we're willing to accept that. Many of those folks that are still stuck in that 3D trolling energy can't even accept that. They'll hear that and go, oh, that's just a bunch of mumbo jumbo. Oh, you really must be out there smoking the wacky backy. Oh, ho, 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 ho. You don't know. But I'm going to pray for you, though. And they don't even have any idea who they're praying to or what they're praying for. Because that's part of my walk home is to try to help wake people up to what's going on spiritually and some of the lies we were given through this what we call the sacred text. And oh, they show up in spades to clown the heck out of me when they have no idea the months and years of meditation and study and all of that I've put into to make sure that I was very sure of what I was saying before I go out there. And folks that don't have a clue about none of this information whatsoever refuse to read the book, won't watch the podcast, barely even go to church and read the Bible. But they'll show up in where you're trying to teach and just loud like a clashing cymbal to try to prevent and distract and detract away from you trying to help others. That's a damaged soul that's stuck in 3D, smooth asleep, and fighting against their own awakening. So hopefully that'll help you give a little bit of grace to those people, help understand. Now, I'm not saying we have to tolerate and allow them to sidetrack our mission, but hopefully it'll kind of help you understand so we're not quite so upset with them anymore. And it helps us understand why we feel stuck. We're not genuinely stuck. We're never stuck anyway. Stuck is a prison of the mind. But understand you're not stuck. You're kind of holding back to try to help your brothers and sisters because it may be part of your spiritual walk as a teacher and guide to do that. But don't hang around so long that you miss the exit ramp too, which we've got time. The folks that are talking about the timeline shifts. And we talked about it in our group even before this video that I'm attaching to this particular video. We had talked about how 2026 to 2030 or 2032 and then beyond, finally I think it really finally that cycle closes all the way out in 2036. But this next 7 to 10 years is really going to be kind of a rough ride, but it truthfully is the timeline split. It makes you wonder if that's where the notion of the rapture initially found its way into religion, because there are a lot at the end of this timeline shift, at the end of that rift, those people that are looking in 3D are going to look around and they're not going to perceive us anymore. The gap will be so wide that they can't jump it anymore. They've taught us about doing quantum jumps and timeline jumps consciously, and we have been, and we can still do. But the longer we go, for those who have never been aware of that and haven't awakened, aren't on the path of the initiate, aren't on the path of ascension, aren't understanding about quantum shifts and paradigm shifts and quantum leaps and things like that, if they don't wake up and quote unquote smell the coffee, so to speak, the time is going to come where it's a huge jump for them that they may not be able to make. They may be stuck in 3D and having to recycle and start on a new, like the reset. Because that what's happening is the dark matrix, the false matrix, they've been they even speak out. The religion is talking about beware of the false light, beware of the false light. Now they don't realize they are the false light, and they've been preaching the false light for hundreds of years, thousands of years. But they're beginning to squawk very loudly about false light because they're attempting to distract people from actually waking up, because they know once this timeline shift gets far enough apart, they're going to be sucked back into a reset, if you will, of the 3D consciousness. The false matrix will reset. Meanwhile, those that were able to make the leap will go on and expand in consciousness. That's what Yeshua was here to do. He said he was the light of the world, the Son of Man. He was given to us by Lord Enki so that whoever believed like him might not perish but gain eternal life. He told us, greater things that I have done will you do. Have I not told ye are gods? The kingdom of heaven is within you. So instead of believing the preachers, the pastors, the imams, and all of them, the rabbis, they're looking for an external kingdom. Yeshua was letting us know, as a mystic, we have the opportunity, we have the call from Spirit to step onto that path and become Christos, become exactly like he was. We're told that we're not worthy enough, we're dirty, and we can't ascend. That's not true. Yeshua said he would not leave us as orphans, that he would send Holy Spirit as a helper for us. Starting in 1844-ish or so, Spirit, how you can see the ramping up of Spirit on this planet, but we have to just use our discernment to see what that means. But at the end of the day, he's inviting us now to stop believing the noise that religion tells us we're not worthy. We have to have this blood sacrifice savior to come in and buy back our sinful nature. And maybe if we're lucky, we will suffer mightily on this side, but maybe after we physically transition off of this earth, maybe we'll get to the other side and get salvation. That's missing the entire point. Yeshua didn't want us to wait until we die off this planet to ascend. He wanted us to find our Christhood while we are still physically embodied in this avatar. It is possible. He did it. Took him 18 years over there, and all of the spiritual work that he did and all that. It wasn't an instant process, but he did it, and he invited us to do it too. And that's what I'm about, y'all. And honestly, I have just recently been able to pull myself out of the programming and the thoughts and being worried what people would say, because I was invited to step on the path of Christos quite literally back in like 2018, 19-ish, the beginning of 2020, like right at that major paradigm shift we all saw and went through while the world shut down in 2020. There was a meditation program that I found, and to this day I cannot find it again. It literally was like it was there for a time for whoever would and could be led to it, and then it was removed. I have searched for it several times and could not find it. But at the end of it, it was like daily meditative exercises and things to do and all those things to consider and ask yourself and go. It was about a 6-week meditative program. And at the end of it, it was an invitation to go outside either on the solstice or Christmas morning if you happen to be concluding the program around the holidays. And I guess at the time Spirit led it to me. I finished the program right on time to be able to witness the double conjunction on the solstice, and then Christmas morning I went out there, and instead of doing about the world and the religious notion of what Christmas is, it was an invitation to commune in nature and invite Yeshua in to accept your Christed beingness and commune with Yeshua. We are being called to become Christ, not just keep following that false light version, because truthfully, within Christianity, they put Yeshua's name in Christianity, but there's nothing Christ-like at all about that religion. It flies 180 degrees away from what Yeshua was teaching. But for those who understand Christ consciousness, we're being asked to embody Christ consciousness and become Christos in this lifetime. Now, are we out there performing miracles and all that stuff yet? Not yet, but who's to say? Can't say it won't happen, because that would be buying into the false narrative, the false matrix that tells you you're not powerful and you can't do those things. When Yeshua said out of his own mouth, and they quoted him and wrote it in the book before they unalived him, that yes, you are that, and yes, you can ascend to that, and you can do not only the things that he did, but more besides. He promised us that. And as a follower, a true follower of Yeshua, I have to believe that. And I hope you do too. I could continue on, but I really think that's about as far as I can go with this without beginning to veer off into the crazy sounding. So I'm going to kind of shut it down there. Again, I am pinning another channel's content, a video from another channel to it, but I highly encourage you, if you rock with me on this channel, or if any of this sounded kind of good to you, please, 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 please watch the video that I'm tagging to this video. It will be an absolute eye opener for you, and I hope it will assist you in your awakening and ascension path as well, because you're not crazy. It's just some real stuff popping off that we need to be aware of in the time that we look for. We actually, this is what we came to this planet for. This is where we're at in the ascension cycle. This is what we prayed for, what was prophesied, all the rest of that. We just have to waken it up and see it and embrace it. Thank you for sharing this information with me. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. I hope to see you in future offerings to the channel. Peace and blessings to you, soul family. I love you so very much. Namaste.